When you think of a quarterback who defined an era, who comes to mind? For many, the answer is simple: Joe Montana. Number 16 wasn't just a player, he was an artist, a conductor, a magician who turned the gridiron into his personal canvas. Today, we're diving deep into the story of Joe Cool, the man who built the San Francisco 49ers dynasty with ice water in his veins. Our story begins not in the NFL, but at Notre Dame. Even then, you could see glimpses of the legend he would become. In the 1979 Cotton Bowl, suffering from hypothermia, Montana was brought back into the game and led a stunning comeback victory against Houston. It was a performance so legendary they called it the chicken soup game. This was the first major sign of his signature trait: unparalleled coolness under pressure. Little did the world know this was just the appetizer. Drafted in the third round of the 1979 NFL Draft, Montana wasn't a highly touted prospect. But legendary coach Bill Walsh saw something special. He saw a quarterback perfectly suited for his revolutionary West Coast offense, a system built on timing, precision, and intelligence. It was a match made in football heaven. Together, Walsh's brilliant mind and Montana's flawless execution would change the NFL forever. The early 80s were about building the foundation. The 49ers, once a struggling franchise, were slowly transforming into a powerhouse. Then came the 1981 NFC Championship game against the Dallas Cowboys. The moment that would etch Joe Montana into football immortality. Down by 6, with less than a minute to play, the 49ers were on the Cowboys' 6-yard line. The play was called Sprint Right Option. Montana rolled out, chased by 3 massive defenders. It looked like a sack, a turnover, the end of a dream season. But Joe Cool did what he always did. He pumped, looked, and lofted a high pass to the back of the end zone. Dwight Clark leaped, his fingertips just grazing the ball, and came down with it. It became known simply as the catch. It wasn't just a touchdown, it was the birth of a dynasty. 2 weeks later, the 49ers won their first Super Bowl, and Joe Montana was named MVP. That was just the beginning. The 49ers and Montana would go on to dominate the decade. Super Bowl 99 was another masterpiece. Facing Dan Marino's explosive Miami Dolphins, Montana put on a clinic, throwing for 331 yards and 3 touchdowns, running for another, and earning his second Super Bowl MVP. He was calm, surgical, and unstoppable. He made the most complex offense in the league look like a game of catch in the backyard. But perhaps the most defining moment of his career, the one that perfectly encapsulates his nickname, came in Super Bowl 83 against the Cincinnati Bengals. With 3 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock, the 49ers were trailing 16-13, starting from their own 8-yard line. The pressure was immense. The stadium was roaring. And what was Joe Montana doing in the huddle? He calmly pointed into the stands and said, "Hey, isn't that John Candy?" The team chuckled, the tension broke, and everyone relaxed. What happened next was pure football poetry. Montana marched the 49ers 92 yards down the field, dinking and dunking his way through the Bengals' defense. Every pass was perfect. Every decision was right. With just 34 seconds left, he hit John Taylor in the end zone for the game-winning touchdown. It wasn't just a drive, it was the drive. It was the ultimate testament to his legendary composure. The man's heart rate probably didn't even go up. A year later, he did it again, leading the 49ers to a blowout victory over the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 25. He threw 5 touchdown passes, a Super Bowl record at the time, and won his 3rd Super Bowl MVP award. 4 Super Bowl appearances, 4 wins, 3 MVPs, 0 interceptions. That's not just a statistic, it's a statement of absolute perfection on the biggest stage. What made Montana so great? It wasn't just his arm, though it was incredibly accurate. It wasn't his speed, as he was never the most athletic quarterback. It was his mind. His ability to read defenses, to anticipate, to know exactly where his receivers would be before they even made their breaks. He was a chess master playing on a field of giants. The West Coast offense was like a complex symphony, and Montana was its maestro, conducting every piece with effortless grace. His connection with his receivers was legendary, from Dwight Clark to Freddie Solomon, and of course the greatest receiver of all time, Jerry Rice. The Montana to Rice connection is the stuff of legends, Their timing was impeccable. Their chemistry was telepathic. When those two were on the field, you always felt like magic was about to happen. You weren't just watching a game. You were witnessing art. Even after a serious elbow injury in 1991 that many thought would end his career, Montana's story wasn't over. After a quarterback controversy with his successor, Steve Young, Montana was traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. Many wondered if he still had it. He answered them by leading the Chiefs to the AFC Championship game in his first season there, proving that his magic wasn't confined to the Bay Area. He brought hope and excitement to a new city, further cementing his legacy as one of the all-time greats. Joe Montana retired as a 4-time Super Bowl champion, a 2-time league MVP, and the undisputed king of the clutch. He wasn't just a winner. He changed how the quarterback position was played. He showed that you didn't need a cannon for an arm or sprinter's speed to dominate. You needed intelligence, accuracy, and above all, an unshakable calm when the world was watching. He was the standard by which all future quarterbacks would be measured in high-pressure situations. So, when we talk about the greatest quarterbacks of all time, the name Joe Montana will always be at the top of the conversation. His career was a masterclass in leadership, poise, and perfection. He was the cool, calm, and collected leader of one of football's greatest dynasties. He was, and always will be, Joe Cool. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this look back at a football legend, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss another story. Who's your favorite clutch quarterback of all time? Let me know in the comments below. See you next time.